Good evening everybody, welcome back to a chart nerd technical analysis video. Today we will be discussing Stronghold. The ticker is SHX against USDT on the weekly time frame. I'm on the Gate.io chart. Before I start, this video is not financial advice and is all for educational and entertainment purposes only. If you do enjoy the content, however, please do give it a thumbs up, a comment, and maybe even subscribe if I'm lucky. Diving into Stronghold, so there's a few things that I want to look at here, and we're just going to analyze this whole sort of price action in the chart all the way from back here in September 2022 up to current date. And what I'm going to look at is sort of a previous level of resistance that Stronghold was under, that it needed to break out back here. And I'm going to show you something that's pretty crazy right now. So if I could just lock this on here, what you'll notice is we had multiple points of contact where we came up to this level of resistance. We actually broke, there's another one here, we actually broke through it in October of 2023, and we sort of hovered around on this previous resistance as support, had this final wick down in November 2023 before a really large melt up. Now, what the crazy thing is that I wanted to show you is that if we go from the neckline of this breakout down to the wick, this massive crazy wick here that we had on the 12th of June, you'll see that if we drag this target from the last wick down that we had, so where we broke out of resistance, we had this wick down to 0.0004. Again, I'll just move that out of the way. You can see the wick there. What you'll notice is that from that last wick drawdown before the huge breakout, we actually ran up to the technical target of the... It's pretty crazy. It's pretty crazy. From the neckline down to the wick to the last wick of the pullback before the explosion, the technical target was the current all-time high for Stronghold. So I just wanted to show you guys that, just a little bit of confluence from the sort of breakout of this large wick that it had here, and then coming up and just really sort of melting faces. Now, what you'll notice from the all-time high, currently speaking, we're in some sort of A, B, C correction. Now, it's just whether is this C wave in, and is this going to hold support on this previous low down here somewhere, where we had a bit of consolidation in January of 2024 and just really hovered around for a couple of months, had a sort of pullback in this large bull flag, and then just continued up to put a new all-time high. Are we coming back down to retest those sort of levels for Stronghold in this A, B, C correction before continuation onto new all-time highs? It's a high potential, and one way we could look for a key level of support is by getting a fib on from the current all-time high up here and retracing back down to this wick low, which was the last low before this sort of explosion. So we had this resistance we was under, we broke above resistance, came back in a correction, and in November 2023 really came up and started to move explosively up to new all-time highs in February of this year. At the moment, what I think we're looking to do is potentially we could be coming back down to the golden ratio here, the 050 at 0.0025, and that would mean a further decline in price of around 42%. Now, why would I be looking for that target? Well, again, it's just because it's the 050 from this local high back down to where this explosive move took off. Ultimately, you could say, well, we're sort of on the way back down to this low because we had this impulsive move, corrected for a few weeks, and then took off. So we could be just retracing to this low, and it's a potential. I mean, this ABC could, the C wave could actually be in here, and we could just come back to this low that we had in January and find that as support and then take off. It's a potential. It could. It really could. I'm not, saying that's out of the equation. And that would be still a further 25-26% correction before the lows are in. So I don't think that this wave is over yet. And if it's not an ABC, then potentially what we've got is, let me just drag this fib back down to this low across here. Then what we potentially could have is some sort of wave 1, a wave 2, and this is a wave 3. We could have some sort of wave 4, and then a final wave 5 back down to this support. Now, what I wanted to look at especially is these EMAs right now. And the only reason I'm suggesting that we could be in for a bit more of a drawdown here is because if we zoom in a little bit, what you'll notice is we closed below the weekly 55 EMA, and we're starting to get a curve over. We're starting to get this curvature where the 20 EMA is rolling down, and so is this red 55. And if they get a death cross and we do sort of run up into this 20 EMA, hit our heads on it and then crash down, that could be an indicator, okay, that we're looking to form some sort of death cross in the next couple of weeks to months, which isn't a good sign, I'll be completely honest. But you can get really compressed between these EMAs. So let me just get rid of this. So we can get compressed between them, and I hope this is a bit clearer now. You've got this yellow 20 EMA which is coming down, and you've got this red 20 that's 55 that's coming down. And if we get a cross between those EMAs and start to do something like this, where we run up into the 20 as it's coming down, see rejection and then crash, this is where potentially we could form a death cross, and it would all be about holding this level of support for me. And we could have at this point, as I said in the charts, a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, and then a 5, and then that's the whole sort of correction over for Stronghold at this point. So 0.00256 would be a target for me to keep our eyes on moving forward, and it would be really important just to watch what happens between these EMAs here, because you could get compression, and we could hold support and start marching on from here. But right now we do have descending resistance on our heads. We have a level of resistance that you can see for a few times now we've sort of rallied up to since the all-time high, and have been failing to take it out. So we do need to see ourselves get back above these EMAs and start tackling out of key descending resistance that's on our heads before we get excited. And again, just that weekly close below the 55 is quite concerning, because if we do sort of get this rally, this would confirm this 1, 2, 3, 4 rally up into the EMA, and then sort of get your crash down. I think that's what this would look like, to be fair, or at least come back down to this low here that I spoke about earlier for Stronghold. So that's my thoughts. Now, we can measure a sort of breakout target if, for example, we do come down to 0.002561. So let's clear the chart, and what we could do is go from 0.02561, it's 2571, but it's accurate enough, and we can get a fib on. I can just add some extra targets for us. So I'm going to add the 1618 and the 1272. Now, if we do have this 5-wave correction, where right now we've got the wave 1, as I said, the wave 2, this is a wave 3, potentially get your wave 4, and then get your wave 5. If we do run up to or come down to this target and then start from this low, starting to then recover and work our way back up, if we do come up and tackle out of the all-time high, then I think the next targets for Stronghold will be 0.02 to 0.04, which from current price is roughly around a 5x to a 10x. But if we do see Stronghold come back down to this target that I'm looking for, then you're looking at a potential 10x up to a 9x up to the 1272, and then a further 17 to 18x up to the 1618 at 0.04. So that's if this sort of correction plays out, because I don't think it's over yet. I really don't. But to invalidate my theory, and some would say, okay, we've had this A, B, C correction back down to the 55. Right now we can start to flip these EMAs and really start dragging them up. Could be the case. But we do have levels of resistance above if these lows are in right now. If the low is in and we are starting to retrace up to the all-time high, you can see here that 0.009 is a very strong point of resistance for Stronghold. So if we do start coming up, we've got key levels above that we need to break through, and that is 0.007 to 0.009. And equally, we've got this descending resistance on our head that we need to come out of as well. Now, I do have a potential target other than using the fibs. I think that if we have this descending triangle here, where Stronghold had this level of support that it was holding, and you can see that it's come up and it's sort of topped out in this triangle, then the breakout target, or the breakdown target should I say, sorry, would bring us down to 0.0029. Now, is that anywhere near that 0.5 fib that we had on at the start? See, not too shy from it, is it really? So realistically, if you include the wick here, and actually we include the wick and go down, and we actually drag this up, because if that is a descending triangle in this sense, if we use the wicks, then it could give some more confluence, and it kind of does. It kind of does, but I like to use the closes. So to keep it short and sweet, if we are in a descending triangle breakdown, which is what we're looking at here, and we have broke down and confirmed it as resistance, then it looks like we're coming down to 0.0027 to 0.0025. And if we do get a cheeky wick in this sort of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, if we do get a cheeky wick down to the golden ratio and the 0.50, I think this will provide optimal opportunity moving forward, looking for the next wave up for Stronghold. I hope you enjoyed the content, guys. From Chart Nerd TA, take care. Peace out.